evening, Patriots, and welcome to the Q Lounge Live. Hi, I'm your host, Shady Groove, joined by my co-host at intheMatrixxx. This is the intheMatrixxx channel on YouTube. Good to see everybody out there tonight. It is Friday night, just after 7 p.m. on the West Coast, 10 p.m. on the East Coast. Thanks for everybody coming out and join us. Come in, gather around, get cozy. Glad to see everybody this week. It's been an amazing week. Things are cracking left and right. The deep state is in a mess bubble this week, and the Democratic quote-unquote party, as your president likes to say, is in shambles, literally showing their true colors. And thanks to POTUS for offering us the opportunity to actually see what the Democratic Party stands for. I'm going to introduce intheMatrixxx here, my co-host. How are you doing, sir?
Hello, everybody. Shady, how are you today? How's YouTube out there doing? Looks like we have some great moderators out there. Thank you guys for coming in here today. We got some wild stuff going on.
Really wild.
Looks like we have a birthday out there too. Happy birthday! It just scrolled by. I can't see who it was, but I think it was Diane. Oh man, I don't remember who it was because I couldn't catch it. But happy birthday!
Thanks so much for coming out, guys. I want to let you know right now at the top of the show that if you're new to Q, you're welcome. Come on in, hang out. Don't hesitate to ask questions. Try to understand what's going on. We're all learning what's going on in real time, trying to learn to work together in a unified front to understand the world, the new world that we're living in, which is a thriving, abundant world, and we're attempting to quote unquote set the stage. I think the president has talked right to us a little bit this week. Also, what we watched in Virginia, as you saw, a governor of a state in absolute meltdown this week, with coming out on Monday with the statements that he made about third-term abortions. And also then today, they have just released some high school yearbook pictures. So the people that started going in on Kavanaugh's high school yearbook getting a little turnabout fair play here.
Absolutely. And Francis James was the birthday. Oh my gosh, Francis, happy birthday.
Happy birthday,
man.
Francis.
You got some Q today too. I hate when the chat goes so fast, sometimes you can't catch it. So really, I wish Francis happy birthday. That's Francis James down there. And thanks for coming to the show too on your birthday. And we got some Q. So yeah, this has been an amazing week. We've got to set the stage. We've got Q posts today. We've got the president doing threads now.
Only a couple that we've ever seen before.
I know, man. I just had to say that because it was just kind of interesting, man. We're sitting there saying, hey, Mr. Trump, President Trump, I'd love it if you do threads. And then after our show, he did his first thread, I think, or one of his first threads. Hey, I don't know. I just think it's kind of neat either way. Coincidence, I'm sure.
Everything in this world has become a non-coincidence, in my opinion, and I think that a lot of people out there are waking up to the fact that things are on their regularly scheduled program. He was referring there to the Matrix Groove Hour. We came on a couple times during the week this past week and had a nice little chat with some of the daytime patriots out there. Thanks for all you guys who are joining us. And wanted to say here on the Q Lounge Live, we have a brand new website that we have been so excited about this week. And I wanted to maybe go over here for just a few minutes, show you a little bit around over there and give you a little quick tour. And then we're going to dig into these Q posts and some other stuff I want to talk to you about tonight. So intheMatrixxx.com with 3 X's, guys. This is the new hub that we have set up to have a center place where you can send people who obviously you can't send to the Chans, and obviously you can't send them to 30 people's Twitter feeds and keep up and understand how this is all going on. So the foundation of this site is in place. This is going to grow rapidly. We have lots of new ideas coming in the near future. But what you'll see here is we have a menu screen on the left that opens up into the other screens. We have the new to Q for people who have no idea what you're talking about whenever you're talking about Q. Then we have the core, the crumbs, the camp, and the comms. And so Matrix and I did a little video the other day where we were going to showcase the website, and they decided to go at us a little bit, took it down. We were up and down for the first couple days. Been rocking it stable for the last few days. Our webmaster is on it and taking care of things behind the scenes, probably joining us out there. Thanks so much for all of your work and the behind the scenes work that has gone into this, because this is not just a throw together piecemeal website, everyone. I want you to realize that whenever you go in here to a section to the core, you'll see the Twitter and YouTube feeds from Matrix and I at the top. But then you're going to also notice that we have all the other great patriots that we love and follow in here as well for you. And
the Patriot News Network.
The Patriot News Network. And these people, we are also providing a space so that they can put their Twitters here. So you have the opportunity for people that are not on Twitter, no idea how to use Twitter. Well, they can come to the site and they can actually look at the Twitter feeds from these great patriots. That was a big staple in the idea of this build, was to host the other hub members of this group who are attempting to bring you the truth and not subvert the truth with what you can say, what you can't say. Twitter has been an amazing platform for that, to move the message forward. But we are at a point now where we're getting ready to have a lot of questions. And like I said at the beginning, we got some great moderators out there. Don't hesitate to ask them questions. And they are going to be dropping some sauce as we go into some of the other stuff here we're talking about. But be kind out there to them. They'll be kind to you. But we're not, we're definitely, we keep it clean here. And we are on the track of the deep state. And we are also going to do it with honor and with methodical unity. So I want to let everybody know that that's what this website is about. And please, if you haven't been there, go over there and dig in a little bit more. I'm not going to go too in depth right now, but I'm so excited. I want Matrix to say a few words. Yeah, go ahead, bud.
Yeah, website, our webmaster Q just added some new forums too. So that's in the camp there. We've got a prayer wall there and some forums, what brought you to Q, if you want to add your own topics, whatever. Get over there. We'll go check it out. We'll start, looking at them for our show. Any ideas that you guys might have, any music that you stumble across, tell us your story, a Q for your thoughts, and any show suggestions, music suggestions. So, and then Webmaster Q also has a website, requests, comments, concerns, and issues there too. So drop them a line, drop us a line, let us know what you guys are thinking about. And this has been under attack. When we did our show, we got attacked live, which was actually kind of neat, even though it kind of made me mad. But, it just goes to show that maybe we're over the target.
Maybe, just maybe. So we're showcasing that a little bit. I'm super excited to bring that to you. I hope you guys really enjoy it. And please do not hesitate to be in communication with us, to post over there your stories. And we're going to be upgrading to multiple different things in the near future. And we are looking for ideas and suggestions, and we are listening to them. And so thanks to everybody for so much support and so much great input and so much gathering of unity. I see it out there. I'm watching it you're crushing them. I mean, you guys are crushing every mainstream media outlet out there. They have lost control of this narrative. They are scrambling that no one believes a word of it anymore. And man, I can't say enough how proud I am of you and how great it is to have known and found all of this whole amazing tribe here. To come and joining us and being on this adventure.
Yeah, absolutely. And I see some people have it on their website for their bookmark when they open their web page. Wow, thank you. And this is going to get better, guys. So we're on a journey together. And, like Shady said, with the website, if you don't have, if your people that I'm not on Twitter, well, they can be on Twitter, just lurking on the website. So lurk more on intheMatrixxx.com. So, Shady.
Lurk more with an A.
Yeah, that's right. MOAR. More.
So I was thinking that maybe we will pass a little bit over to you, Matrix, in the beginning here. Let's talk about the couple of Q posts, and let's talk about a little bit of the stuff going on this week, if you're ready.
Yeah, man, sure. Q posted. It was awesome. At 8:45 this morning, I posted, waiting for Q, and people had some theories. I think Tennessee Homesteader thought that he'd be posting today. So that was a very good guess by the Homesteader. So that was some good stuff. This is my thread. If you guys aren't familiar, this is how I do my threads. I'll start off with the picture. This was actually one of Q's pictures right here. QAnon posts for February 1st, Anons Understand and more. So basically, the first post was a repost of this post has been done twice. I think November, and then the latest Q post. If we head over to Q Maps, it was done on January 13th. So this was the last post that Q posted for us, and it was the D Party Con. In fact, let me just make it a little bit bigger for everybody here. So it's the D Party Con. When you can't raise money organically through party individual donations, voter base, you steal it from the American taxpayer and give it back to yourself in the form of campaign contributions. Example 1, Planned Parenthood. And then it links to this GAO right here. This is the GAO report that basically talks about the funding and how I'll just go back to the other list here. On the highlights on the GAO page, but it shows you right here, Planned Parenthood Federation, 11.59 million, Planned Parenthood Federation of America, 89 million. So it's just, and they didn't recommend anything on this report, but it just shows you that they're developing agencies. This is 13 to 15. Obligating about $26.5 billion to verify qualified health centers. International Planned Parenthood Federation, Maurice Stopes International, and Planned Parenthood Federation of America. So just a lot of money going to these people, your money, my money, and then going back to Q's post, what do they do with that money, right? So $1.5 billion provided in taxpayer funding for a 3-year period. Case 1, Planned Parenthood spent $30 million to disclose real estimates close to 65 million in taxpayer subsidies to influence the outcome of the 2018 midterm elections. Conclusion: it should be legal for the taxpayer, D plus R plus I, Democrat, Republican, Independent, funded organizations to donate massive amounts of money to the D party in effort to sway an election. D underscore insider underscore term T underscore wash. Reread drops regarding Soros and taxpayer funding. Your hard-earned tax dollars at work. Vote, vote, vote. Q then said, last post before going dark regarding PP, Planned Parenthood. What events followed that post? Coincidence? Anons understand. Q. And then Q dropped us with this photo. It's a very small photo. I've got some, images on it on the thread as well. So we just cruised down a little bit below. We just kind of looked at the JPEG number was called SYS underscore conf underscore spec underscore y dot JPEG. And that's almost like a stringer in some of his other stringer posts as well. So that was a very interesting catch that I noticed it right away. I know some Anons did too. Somebody did a reverse image search, and it came back to Israeli missiles hit near Damascus airport. These are F-15s. Is that February 15th? Is that a clue, Shady? So that's the airstrikes in Syria, and that was on 9/21/14, and a pair of U.S. Air Force F-15 strike eagles fly over northern Iraq. So fly, eagle, fly. Interesting. So there's some Q-isms in this. He's just letting us know about some Qs. And then some Norwegian Anon put all of this together. I thought it was very interesting to show the Department of Air Defense Force where the images came from, articles that include these images, U.S. strikes causing civilian casualties more than double in Afghanistan, declaring war on ISIS. So there's just some really cool things to kind of look at. As soon as Q posts a picture, I just, we normally just do an image search. Then this is the 4 booms. Brilliant Anon kind of pasted this today. It was kind of a theory, Shady. Do you want to read that, or you want to read this one?
Sure, I can read that one. Good. Let me see if I can.
Yeah, go ahead.
Get over here right where you're at, because I was on the last one. But this is very, very interesting little tidbit here from an Anon on the board, and maybe just so maybe some people out there that aren't aware, The posts that you see here that are in, you know, the blue background are post memes taken from the chans and brought over to be posted on Twitter. So, you know, you're seeing Anon's theories, and Twitter is the medium for us to bring them back and forth. But the four booms that destroyed the Democratic Party from within. Boom. POTUS brands and positions Maxine Waters as the new face of the Democratic Party. Over and over and over, he gets in front of the camera and says, "Crazy Maxine Waters, the leader of the Democratic Party." Boom. POTUS tweets constantly and wanting Pelosi to win the Speaker of the House position. She gets it. She's comped and acting for her life. Her and Chucky become joined at the hip and always appear on camera as a single unit. Boom. Q strategically moves all the pieces into place. AOC wins a seat unopposed, as the incumbent Democrat never shows up for the debates or anything else. And Q makes sure she becomes a social media sensation. Moderate Democratic polls and followers alike cringe every single time she opens her mouth and shares her ignorant, myopic ideas. Boom. The Moab. Late-term abortions. Here's the post. I wrote about this subject, see below, but let me close by saying that in hindsight, the timing and sequence of these events is nothing short of brilliant red pilling by Team Q. Very good to understand the you know, if you're paying attention, you notice that the president has given each one of the bad players a villain name. You know?
Oh, absolutely.
So you got Lion Chuck Schumer, and you got Mad Maxine Waters, the great, you know. So they all have a villain name, so that you can closer identify the ones that we're putting the laser pointer on here. But very good by this Anon to share this strategic thought form there. Very interesting.
Yeah.
And AOC, they are putting a spotlight on her, and man, it just, I don't know if they're really trying to sell it or if they're doing that on purpose just to implode the party, but oh my goodness, she's not connecting with anyone out there. So it does seem like a move to implode the party.
Yeah, and the brilliance of late-term abortion, the post continues, it dominates the news, pisses everyone off, including moderate Democrats, creates a common enemy that begins uniting all Americans. And you know, this stuff happened on, this is the first day of African American Month too. So that's, you know, here we go, Black History Month, Black Heritage Month. Here we are. What an interesting way to come out swinging. DJT comes to the rescue. TDSs rethink their position. Then they reveal. The real movie starts, and the tsunami of evidence against the true evil bastards comes to light. XDs begin getting reinforcement that their decision to switch over to the Trump Express was a good one. They begin recruiting red-pilling deeper D-loyalists. Normies, which is just regular people, are now prepped to accept the new reality without rioting. Was Q/POTUS evil for allowing the law to pass? No. And you want to know why not? Because a vast majority of abortions occur during the first trimester. Kids that accidentally get pregnant, abort early. Almost all, you got to remember, this is from the Chan boards, guys. Almost all medical issues are also detected in the first trimester. Combine that with the fact that women are hardwired to become physically, emotionally, spiritually connected, bonded to their baby around 20 to 25-ish weeks, that would then defend that child to their death. They begin to madly fall in love with that little heart's beating inside them. There's no way in heck that they would let a doctor do that to a newborn, not ever. Therefore, it's an ingenuous BS. Bravo Sierra. That reminds me, BS story created to get the Ds to question the sanity of their own party. Brace and prepare the regular people for child trafficking stories that will soon unfold. Unite Ds and Rs against a common enemy and set the stage that DJT was a great guy all along. This is how you start the movie. Grab some popcorn and beer. And the beer is on me at the parade. Love it. Love it. And there's your red pill and green pill. That's what we're up to. There's Pepe Pickle. I love it. So, so I thought that was a really good post either way. And I also wanted to just highlight that today is February 1st, Freedom Day. The White House did declare February 1st National Freedom Day. So happy Freedom Day, everybody. All you beautiful Anons and patriots out there in YouTube land, thank you very much for joining us tonight. And if you look at the Q post, exactly 1 year delta from today, it's a 6:59, effective yesterday. While standing under the Statue of Freedom, POTUS freed those good people who are currently being blackmailed, threatened, and enslaved. Those who stood chanting USA were freed. The shot heard around the world. TG. We the people. Freedom Day. Light. Q. So that was during the last State of the Union address.
Very, very interesting to watch how people are starting to trust the president. Are you seeing it, Matrix? You can see that. That the moderate, realistic, center-oriented part of the Democratic Party are like really like rolling their eyes and pushing their hands up and like, whoa, what are you guys talking about here? And we've brought this conversation to the forefront since the last Q post, talking about the laundering aspect of the Planned Parenthood reality. The Q post about that led us down the rabbit hole of how atrocious Planned Parenthood really is. Over a year ago was something that motivated all of us Anons. We were overwhelmed. I mean, everyone knew that it was not good, but wow at how bad and what is really going on there. We're not going to dig deep into those realities here, but we will be doing that in the future on this format whenever lots of people are coming to ask questions, because that is a major part of all of this. And the history is so skewed that all of these different things have to kind of line up a little bit in a timeline, and we have to get to where we're all having a normal conversation in this country. And the narrative shift is in full swing. It really is in full swing.
And here's part of the narrative shift right here from our president, Donald J. Trump. Democrats are becoming the party of late-term abortion, high taxes, open borders, and crime. So, I mean, everybody doesn't like Twitter, even MAGA people. Oh, I don't want to. Look at this stuff. Look at that. And that is logic. That is what is actually happening. That is not a lie. So check it out, guys. Amazing tweet from our president. And then, because Q did ask us, last post before going dark regarding Planned Parenthood. So what events followed that post? And this is it. Legalize the late-term abortions. Abortion extremism will yield more laws like New York's, like there's no going back to debate pre-Roe versus Wade. So this is basically, they're panicking because Roe versus Wade, because of RBG, threat, the threat of losing her or lost her, we don't know yet. But this is what it's about. They're panicking because of their money income, and also their funds, right? Their funds and the Roe versus Roe v. Wade. So 123:19. Another thing that happened while we were waiting for Q during this, waiting for this post talking about Planned Parenthood, a big legal loss for Planned Parenthood happened. 3-judge panel of the Fifth U.S. Circuit Court had it say. It ruled on behalf of the taxpayers, guys. Wow, a court finally ruled on the behalf of us, saving Texans $3.1 million to try to withhold from Planned Parenthood. But that's a smidgen of $57 million. And this case had to do with the actual videos that came out, Shady. So they lost in Texas. So what does this do? This sets a precedence, guys. This sets a precedent. So Planned Parenthood wasn't thrilled about losing $3.1 million. So it took to the state court last week. 3-judge panel of the Fifth Circuit Court had to say, and to the abortion group's surprise, it ruled on behalf of the taxpayers. And this was, thanks to the Planned Parenthood annual report, Americans are starting to understand why the country's biggest abortion business doesn't need our money. Logic, folks. So great story there coming out of Daily Signal right there, excuse me. Then we've got the timeline of Planned Parenthood investigation. This is the House investigation, the GOP House investigation. Thank you, Crop Duster, for dropping this earlier today. He's out there in mods. Thank you, Crop. This is the House investigation into Planned Parenthood. This is a very good website to kind of take a look at the House investigation and the actual timeline. This is some of the stuff that happened. Very, very informative. Check it out if you get a chance. We won't go too deep into it. Then a really good, brilliant anon, side-by-side Q on his new crumb. It's clear that they're pushing the late-term abortion and after-birth abortions because RBG is about to go. Think Roe v. Wade is in danger and being overturned, which, of course, would mean huge loss in money for the Dems, sale of baby parts, stem cells, and fetal tissue. So this is a really good thing, a really good graphic. The Federalist is here about Ralph Northam, just called the legalizing murder of newborn babies. That guy received $1.99 million of Planned Parenthood funds. It's time to wake up, America.
Yeah,
we want our country back.
Yeah, and it's time to start holding these people accountable. And the only way we're going to hold them accountable for their actions is to call them out. And you have almost all of them with blue check marks are on Twitter. So you do have a place that you can communicate, even though they may not be reading it. We need to be communicating this message and showing the absurdity of what's going on in multiple states now. This is in New York. This is in Oregon. And there was a couple of more. Virginia, maybe there was another one. So,
Virginia, yep.
Yeah. So they're really, they're going to make a push for this because this is their last ditch effort to to keep their quote unquote supplies intact. That's a huge reason that the president is trolling them on the wall so much, is because he knows that the trafficking, slavery aspect of this is the bread and butter of the deep state machine. That is what they peddle in. Really is the innocence of youth and the innocence of people. So that emotional reality that we're all getting ready to come to is going to be very difficult for your friends to understand, and it's going to be something that we have to be able to explain in a calm, metered manner.
Yes. That
does not bring over emotion, but brings solidarity and unity to the center argument on this issue, which is, there is no precedence for this type of in the modern age. I mean, that is
and Shady, we've also been like mind controlled to think that Planned Parenthood equals abortion, that you're for abortion. There's going to be instances where it will and is necessary, and there are clinics and hospitals that can do it. We do not need Planned Parenthood to do this. Because you're against Planned Parenthood does not mean anything. It just means that we don't want our taxpayers' money going to something that can stand on its own 2 feet, and it uses our money to influence our elections. It's just time to go.
Well,
take it however you want it.
Right. Well, using it as a slush fund to give politicians money through campaign contributions is not appropriate. So most people don't realize. I mean, to be honest with you, Matrix, the decent amount of the people that I speak with who I would consider not red-pilled or what, they don't even realize that illegal immigrants are receiving benefits in America. I mean, the narrative has been so skewed on television that, the politicians aren't afraid to admit it, but the news doesn't report it. People don't realize it. The news also isn't driving around in San Francisco and LA and all these other cities and taking any pictures of these tent cities that are out there that have popped up since 2008, when all of a sudden none of the banks would give anybody a loan. Now, not everyone didn't automatically get a bad credit score one day, but all of a sudden the banks wouldn't loan people money. And look what happened. Look at the property they seized through that 4 or 5 year period. Pretty huge amount of assets that were seized and taken back by banks and taken back by the state. And now you see homeless people everywhere, all over the streets of America, and you have your politicians standing there telling you that the illegal people coming from Honduras and Central America are not an issue, they're not a problem. We need them. That what they need is the elites in America need cheap labor because they don't want to pay people a working wage. And they keep telling you crazy stuff like, oh, well, these people will do jobs Americans won't do, but they do not finish the sentence and say these people do jobs Americans won't do for $3 and $4 an hour. You pay, look at all the corporations, how they've combined, how they've centered all of their structure. And what is their bottom line? Their bottom line is always the bottom line. And they have been getting away with subsidies from the government to these food industries. Layer after layer after layer, you're being paid to not produce crops on land all the way across America. The family farm has shrunk down to a number never ever seen before in our country. And that is what we are all here to bring back. We're here to bring back manufacturing, and we're here to bring back farming, and we're here to bring back the heart of America, which is production and self-reliance and sovereignty. And that is a large part of what we think Q's message is. And that is a large part of why we are being surrounded by these topics from the president and from the narrative talking points, so we can speak back to them, and so we can, because the president is giving you a voice and Q is giving you a voice, and so trust that.
Yeah, trust it. And Breed Love Live Live, excuse me, thank you very, very much. She says, they say, keep up the good work and God bless. I appreciate that. Shady, and I appreciate that too. So going back to this Planned Parenthood thing, Ralph Northam, whatever, dressed up in blackface, and the guy next to him is in a KKK outfit. There's been things of where he debated a person of color and didn't shake his hand. And, so this guy, they're setting him up for something, man.
Well, it's a bad week whenever people are asking you, are you the person that is dressed up in blackface, or are you the person that is behind the mask?
I know. Well, and that's just it. And that's really it. Oh my gosh. So this is, the Cloward and Piven stuff weighing heavy on our thing. What people don't understand is that the biggest threat against the black population is abortions. In 2012, there was more abortions than births in New York City. So I don't know. Just let's think logically, folks. That doesn't sound right to me. And
we are Ruth seekers.
We're Ruth seekers, guys. Believe those that are seeking the Ruth. Doubt those who find her. Right? We saw somebody find her, didn't we? Saw her at Gold's Gym, wasn't that? Who was that, Shady?
Yeah, that was our friend Payseur. His insider source saw her working out. I asked him on Twitter if she was at Gold's Gym today.
And he's called me a doofus twice. Do you believe that? He's actually called me a doofus. I mean, I am badge of honor, Payseur. Thank you. Unblock me. Maybe we can have some nice, conversation someday.
He's had you blocked for a long time.
Oh, I know. So here's the Anon theory on the caravan, MS-13, Dems, and Planned Parenthood. Just kind of wanted to show this to you guys. I'll read it for you in case you can't see it on the screen. It's MS-13 works with Dems in the deep state to traffic women. Huge numbers of them get raped and impregnated. BC doesn't stop all the fertilizations. Caravan inflow shows up full of women and girls who are or will get pregnant. Raped babies get aborted. Anchor babies get to live. Influx of pregnant women, girls funnels out into sanctuary cities, even into New York City. Free healthcare for all. Abortion is a part of healthcare. Planned Parenthood makes a killing off of abortions. BC, sonograms, etc., at taxpayers' expense, plus sale of body parts, late-term abortions, partial birth, and now post-birth abortions to ensure that you can incubate for a few months before arriving and getting the abortion. Dems, DS, get taxpayer money through Planned Parenthood. Correct me if I missed anything. I think you pretty well covered it. What do you guys think?
Pretty well nails it down there, doesn't it?
Yeah. So basically, that's my thread. That's what I've got so far. We did see this. People are asking about this. Joe M. did tweet this. DC Funeral Home vehicle leaving Ginsburg Estate. No word. So there's no snow. There's some issues with the picture, possibly. We're waiting to confirm it. But I think Payseur saw her at Gold's Gym, so I think we're all good. So never mind.
The insider source.
Insider source. Yeah. Oh, and somebody said, "Do you mean like Jack Payseur?" Yep, that's exactly who I mean, Shan. So
as he's doing his news report, walking down the street with his cell phone there, he's telling he's giving everybody the scoop on RBG.
Right. I want to also bring up Stormy Joe Patriot. I think he's in here in YouTube land. Hey, Stormy Joe. He said this. He kind of been doing this Gorka dig, and it's kind of amazing. March 5th, Q said boom, 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 boom. And I believe that's at 1:39 p.m., right? And then March 6th, the next day, make America great again. So maybe Gorka is being against Q to bring new eyes to the movement. Just interesting dig there, Joe. Hat tip. There's much more in that thread. Come to my Twitter page, check it out, go over to his stuff. He's amazing. Let me just go one more. I think I had one more in here that I wanted to cover. Yeah, Planned Parenthood. So yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah, I wanted to cover the real Donald Trump, the setting the stage thing.
Yes, please.
Yeah, so Donald Trump said, I think by having a shutdown, we've set the table for where we are now. If I didn't do the shutdown, people wouldn't understand the subject. It's called, like in deal making, setting the table, or, setting the stage. And I said, 5-5, POTUS. Right. So this was back in 318. Q said, set the stage. POTUS, do you believe? Buckle up, Q. And during that speech, which is what you see right here in the GIF, he kind of made a Q, didn't he? So Q wanted us to watch POTUS, and we found where he said, set the stage. The POTUS he's saying, we've really set the stage. Set the stage, and boom, Q.
And there's multiple. If people out there are new to Q, there's multiple taglines that Q has dropped over the course of all the drops that have been in quotes, alluding to that these are quotes that you will hear from your president in the future. Set the stage. The post he was just reading from was one of those from before. So there's more than 10 of those instances throughout the post where, as we go through this, we're going to be paying attention. It looks like we are set up for a big week, this coming week, leading up to the past the State of the Union into this shutdown. I heard on the news just a minute ago that the House isn't even going to be in session next week. They're scheduled to be there for one day next week. We're a month into this session and they haven't done anything. They're not doing anything. So the American people are paying attention to politics like I can never remember a time when people were so plugged into politics and so plugged into what is going on and why does what the president is doing look completely different than what they're saying about him. That is really driving people to be red-pilled and to wake up, and then you guys being there with some good sauce and some good comforting information to let them know that we're not all out here alone. We have information and we have a plan, and the plan is being implemented in front of us, and we're following along with it and trusting the president. And like we've said, Matrix and I both said before, neither of us have ever trusted a president before. This is new. This is new. Right. This is new ground for us, and we're learning, and we're learning just like you're learning. And he's giving a lot of real good information in his tweets. So we're recommending to everybody consistently, please be reading the president's tweets every day because they're very important.
Yeah. And then, Q post 190, USA versus. Necessary to cut the strings from foreign bad actors. Necessary to form worldwide alliances to defeat. Think Merkel is a coincidence? They are puppets. They are weak. They are scared. 80% dark ops necessary. 20% public for justice. The stage must be set. Have faith, Q. And this was November 22nd, 2017. Then there's another one here, 854. The stage is set for a drop of HRC. And then it goes XR vid, raw vid 55, reread stage, the nail in many coffins, liberal undo, impossible to defend, late term abortions maybe, toxic to those connected. We must work together. We are only as strong as your voice. You must be organized and be heard. This is why they keep you divided in the dark, weak. We are here to unite and provide truth, dark to light. Evil surrounds us. We are fighting for you. Where we go one, we go all. The choice to know will be yours. Killbox, end, Q. And that's another one. So then there's drop the video, play it in Times Square, 862, Tuesday, March 6, 2018. Stage set, Google, Facebook, Twitter, etc. are regulated. MSM is controlled. Use logic. Trust the plan. So maybe at that time the stage wasn't set. 1273, April 26th. This one is what happens to special counsel Rudy met with Mueller today. Coincidence? Connect. Public announcement. End of POTUS investigation. Continue with other investigation. Stage set. Support growing. Strategic. Planned? We have it all. Welcome to the White House. Q. So those are some really good ones. And then there was this one more that I just kind of, the nail in the coffins is impossible to defend. Okay, the nail in many coffins, liberal undo. Then I thought this was interesting. There's this to consider. There's HRC in this Q drop right here. It says plus, 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 and then plus, 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 315. 315. What time is it on the clock again? If it's 3:14, then it's almost 3:15. So if it's 3:15, then is it time, guys? Watch the watch. There you go.
Watch. So many things to pay attention to, and it really is fascinating to just to pull myself out of it once in a while and just stand and think, where we've been for the last year and how far we were away from where we are right now a year ago. I mean, as a country, as a thought form, the fracturedness of liberty, the fracturedness of the republic, everyone in their own corners, and the fabric has started to gather. The storm is here, and we're watching it play out in real time. And everybody out there, this is going to be stories that you're telling for a long time. So I really encourage you to pay extra attention and to not miss a thing, because this is going to be this is going to go down in history as one of the most amazing times ever on planet Earth for freedom. We achieved this goal, which is what we plan to do. We're talking about worldwide freedom. We're not talking about just the United
it's a domino effect. It absolutely is. And worldwide alliances. And you've seen our president running around making these alliances. So I wanted to also show you this one, Shady. And Anon said this on the boards. No one knows the date of the storm. However, we all know the stage table is now set. Trump said so twice today. It is critical that we shine the truth through the darkness. We are the media now. Go. And they had this really cool graphic of our president. They superimposed that. That's not real, but it should be. Q plus, actually. Then there's another cool thing. There was an executive order on strengthening buying American preferences for infrastructure projects. That was on the same day, January 31st. And then did Donald Trump, was DJT looking at our 8chan board? Because there's two at 10:36. There was, what was it? The 131:19. I don't know the dates. Democrats are becoming the party of late-term abortion, high taxes, open borders, and crime. Make abortions great again. Democrat Party, death and taxes. So it just kind of looks like, they were tweeting a meme posted last night. But it looked like, it looks like that Trump, our president, could be looking at an 8chan board. Just another proof that you got it. So there's the Sharp Edge. That's who saw that, at the Sharp Edge 1. Very good Twitter person to follow as well. So Shady, that's kind of what I got so far as the Q post today. Pretty amazing. A lot of stuff going on with Planned Parenthood and stuff like that. I mean, I'm almost tired of winning. I can't wait to see what happens on the 15th.
Don't get tired of winning.
Okay.
We promised. Get tired of winning. All right, I'm gonna flip back over here real quick, guys. I want to grab a couple things and show you this post from an Anon that I want to read to you real quick, and you can take a screenshot of it out there if you would like to share. But it says, "Stay patient, Anons. We're fighting an enemy that has been deeply embedded in nearly every facet of society for well over a century. We know much longer. Instant reversal of the evil is not possible nor attainable. Generations have never known freedom. Sleep is deep, and people have to be awakened slowly, and most importantly, awakened in the right way. I'm an old blank who has been aware of the deep state running the show for 50 years. Never thought I would live to see anything at all change in my lifetime. Then DJT came along, and for the first time I felt hope. Then Q hit the scene, and I found a voice that spoke for me and many others who have been beaten down, and our voices and thoughts and ideas. Anons were drawn here for a reason, as allies to fight and save the Republic from tyranny in whatever legal ways we can. Don't lose faith, stay strong. This is the moment in time we've been waiting for. Humanity depends upon it, I will support the plan until my last breath, no matter how long it takes. And there's all of you, where we go, when we go, all of you out there, I know are of that same heart and that same mind and that same drive. This isn't lightly spoken to say that we are attempting to attain a freedom of which has not been seen in the historical record. There is a lot of inaccuracies in that historical record, and it is possible that the history of that's written for us isn't what it says, but we know the past 140 years have been an engineered scheme, 160 years, an engineered scheme to enslave you and to prevent you from understanding abundance and to prevent you from understanding true freedom. And so we're going to go into here a little bit about, and I'm going to start with a couple of things to just lead into some of this conversation matrix. I'm going to take us down a little bit of a rabbit hole and a little bit of a tangent, but I want to address the overarching theory of the research that we're working on. I hope if you haven't caught the Payseur videos that we've put up, I recommend that you catch those. They're on the Who is P page at intheMatrixxx.com, also on our YouTube channels. They're posted there. Other shows that we've been on talking about this issue. We're watching the conversation get splintered around who is P. People have different opinions, people have different theories, and all opinions and theories are obviously valid. We're paying attention to all of them. We have discovered this rabbit hole, if you will, this theory that we're on about P being Payseur. And I'm going to go off here for just a minute and give a broad overview, if I can, of why we're chasing this and what it means to you, the American citizen. This goes back to the Act of 1871, the original usurpation of the Constitution, where it was rewritten as the America as a corporation as opposed to America as an independent sovereign state. The reason that this time in history is so important, and Matrix and I discovered this when we started digging into the old newspapers and periodicals of that era to see what was the conversation. We got directed to different stuff, but as we were looking, we started reading the other articles around the things that were posted in the archives and really seeing a conversation develop back then that was very, very robust about the resistance in America to the idea of a central banking system. We understood in our educational realities, our academic realities, our science, we understood in civics that the central bank was the reason the state was created initially to begin with, to get away from that system. That was a system that was in place in Europe when people started coming here a few hundred years ago. So now we start thinking about freedom, and we start thinking about the Constitution, and we take into account the Constitution, and it was written in the late 1700s. And who are all these people, and what were the games, and what were we doing then, and what were the players? What was the global cabal that we're dealing with today doing then? Come to find out, pretty much the exact same thing they're doing now, working behind the scenes and working in the shadows. And so what they were able to do, and the reason that we think Payseur is a very intriguing name, is not as much because of the bloodline of the Payseur, because the bloodlines are everywhere. I mean, everywhere, literally everywhere. They have moved people, they have changed last names, they have put people with this family, they have trusted this family changed their names, and they moved to here, and they said it was this child was this age, it was really this age. I mean, across the board. You're talking about Vanderbilts, you're talking about Bundys, you're talking about Kennedys, you're talking about Nassus, you're talking about all of these names that you've heard 100 times when people talk about the Illuminati bloodline families. Well, it wasn't just those families. It was multiple families in each of those families spread out throughout the country and throughout the world. Now, what happened was, and what we think happened was, leading up to the institution or the initiating of a central bank, as you know, the Titanic being sunk in the early 1900s was a very key part in this plan working for them to set up this central banking system. What they were working on between 1871 and the 1913 were getting their assets secured. Now, Talking about getting your assets secured. What are you talking about? We're talking about instruments. Instruments. Most people don't understand what that means. A lot of people, if you understand law, you do. But an instrument is a title. It would be something very comparable to what is considered the registration for your car. Okay, so instruments were being compiled, and these companies were being put together in trust organizations all over America. All these families, we're confused about where these families are. They are not. They are forced to understand it. They have to know it by heart and by head, because otherwise who's going to keep up with it? It's all private, it's kept secret, but they know where all the assets are. They compiled all the assets into a trust, into one asset, if you will. So the threads that we're showing you on Matrix, somebody will drop that, his Payseur thread. You'll see the pictures in that showing you how the trust is organized to where there's a center hub. There's no real connection to that center hub, and all the other subsidiaries rotate out and around it without it looking like anything is actually connected to the center hub. This was the trust. So with this trust, called the quote Payseur trust, they combined everything under one header, and they made it a single trust for the cabal. This came with a 99-year lease. So we have this trust that was organized back then. We saw that they were organized. And now we see today that all of the companies in America, food companies, banking companies, railroad companies, social media companies, you name it, every single company involved. You've seen the graphs. You know who I'm talking about. All of these were involved. All of that still comes under that same header. So with the Q pointing us to Payseur whenever they not long after the research started that we published back in the summer, then we started digging further. Matrix started digging further into the idea of this trust and how many times Q had posted trust a plan and trust sessions and trust. Do you trust Google? Do you trust these companies? Facebook, Trust is everywhere throughout the Q posts. That's interesting. And if you noticed at the beginning, I showed you a graphic. And I'm going to show you that graphic again right now because I want you to see a Ben Garrison. Let's see if I can find it here. A Ben Garrison of the early 1900s. I'm going to put it up full screen over. You'll see the YouTube chat there. But this was this is what they were talking about back then, guys. Okay? This is what we were shining a light on then whenever we were attempting to stop them from initializing a central banking cartel in America and usurping our money. Took them 20 years from them starting this to the Great Depression. Then they stole everything from us. And then they pretended to loan it back to us and slowly removed the dollar from the gold standard since then. So they've taken all these companies, put them in a trust. The trust is a single organism that's organized in an antitrust law manner where no one can set up antitrust laws, but this can exist in an antitrust. Now, think about the complexity of that. Then Matrix started digging on this trust reality, and this trust reality led us to the DTCC on 55 Water Street in New York. Now, with this, I'm going to show you right here, exchange traded funds. Now, what you're going to see here is a list of foreign and domestic on the left, and on the right, you'll see ETF agents. So you'll see all these numbers here, 4-digit numbers that are showing agents. And as I scroll down here, this is a phenomenal list. Now, I'm not talking about this is individual companies. These are individual trusts that are that have an agent for multiple other companies, all under the same heading. This heading being the heading that is at the trust DTCC on 55 Water Street that was started in 1999, the end of their 99-year lease. All of these assets were transferred there. Now this, you've seen me scroll here for a few seconds. I'm literally not even 10% down on this page. Okay, this is how huge this is. This is the reason that Matrix and I think that Q is pointing us to the entity that is the trust, the entity that was the company, whatever you want to call it. We refer to it as the Payseur because it was headlined in the late 1800s as the Payseur Trust. The Payseurs were known in the late 1800s to have bought the Vatican for like 400, I think it was 450 million, maybe Matrix, maybe I'm wrong about that, 450 million dollars in the mid 1800s. Translate that to today. So this cabal, quote unquote, look, I'm still scrolling here. I'm maybe 20% through this, just to show you, because I want to give you an idea of how huge this is. And I think the mods out there have this link. If not, let me just grab it and drop it in there. But you guys, we're attempting to bring a conversation. This show, the other shows that we do, all the programs that we're going to go on, a few people have already invited us on for the next couple of weeks, so we're going to be making some appearances. This is what we're focusing on. This is what we're talking about, because we feel like...
And he's still scrolling too, by the way, guys. I mean, look at that. It's just insane.
It's insane. I mean, really, each of these, like I said...
Oh, wait. Pachyderm Princess wants to let you know that P equals Pindar. Because Pindar bought the Vatican. Pindar bought the Depository Trust and the Federal Reserve. So thank you for that. We're done.
I understand. I understand the arguments that are out there, and I understand the research that you guys are citing with Pindar. I recognize David Icke. I studied David Icke in the 90s. I'm very well versed on the Luciferian cult religion, the symbols, what they refer to, and who they're talking to. I understand it. But think about what Q said. Q said P equals C, and they said, do you mean the Pope? He put the Pope in the kill box, and he said those that backed him will be pushed into the light. Matrix can probably state the exact quote or the exact post, but those who backed him will be pushed into the light. Now this right here, we can prove that this DTCC trust backs the Pope through the Payseur asset transfer going back 100 years. Look at this. Now I'm still scrolling here, guys. I'm not 50% through this page yet, making the greater point that the Pindar reality exists. We understand their religion.
We've dug on this. We've dug on the Pindar. That's why we came to Payseur. So go ahead, Shady. I mean, absolutely.
Yeah, it like no one is disregarding that their religion ends at the top, and that they believe that the Pindar is their master. We understand that. We're not negating that. We're just trying to say that Q has made so many references to the trust, and he's made specific references to the 5-5 Water Street, watch the water, different things that lead us to believe. Now, right here, I am at the 50% mark. This is 50% of this list in front of me. I've been scrolling forever. So flipping back over here to this article, 1871, United States is a corporation. This is more than you know, guys, and there's a few reasons that my research from a long time ago. Number one, this is what you need to be sharing, because this is mandatory reading for all anons out there. Is the Constitution the way it was written originally? This represents the Constitution in its first form in a readable file here. It is not. This does not read the same as the one in 1871. Go ahead.
I just really wanted to quickly say that Pendragon, Pindar, you can relate it to Pendragon, which means the chief, which means the war leader, the head chief. That's the dragon of Dragon Island, right? So it's literally the head, and that's what Payseur represents. So, if you're going to look into the Pindar, look at Pendragon, and then understand that just means the head, the chief, the top. We never knew who that was, so now we do. And it's everybody that we know. I mean, it's the English queen, it's the Dutch queen. There's, we've got some new research coming up, that some amazing diggers coming up. We're gonna stay tuned for that. Payseur and Payseur, B and P.
Right.
We're gonna release that soon. So really good stuff. So Shade, I did not mean to interrupt your flow, but I did want to kind of address the Pindar stuff, because we did look into it. I mean, it's there. It's simply means the chief dragon or the head dragon, whatever they believe in, the chief leader, the chief of the warriors, the commander in chief of their, whatever you want to call it, control system.
Yeah, the control system, that's what we're pointing at. That's what we're wanting to say, is the control system is relevant here. We're attempting to break down the control system. There's no real way to break that down until we understand it. We've got to know what we're talking about, and we've got to know where to look and who to share the proper information with. This is not this is not information that is laying on the surface. This is information that is there, but we have to dig on. I want to go over a little bit right here. And I was talking about the instrument, and I was talking about your registration, talking about the money. How does it work? What is it? Okay, this is what it is. When you go to a government office and you request something, think about it. You're an American citizen. Do you think you don't have the right to drive? You're an American citizen. Do you think you don't have the right to fish? You're an American citizen. Do you think you do not have the right to get married? You're an American citizen. Do you think you don't have the right to own a car? Think about that. What am I doing whenever I go down to the DMV and I register my car? I'm paying them a fee for what? Whenever I go to the courthouse and I register a deed for my house with the courthouse, and I leave that deed in the possession of the courthouse, how can I proclaim myself as owner in due course of that instrument? You cannot. You do not control it. Now I'm going to tell you something very interesting right now. Mm-hmm. If I am an officer and I am going to serve a warrant somewhere, why do I have to go to the courthouse first? Why do I have to go get a signed warrant from a judge? Well, you think it's because the judge is making sure that the officer is doing the right thing. Nope. What he's doing is he's making sure that your land that they're about to raid has been entered into their privilege system. Okay? Same with your driver's license. You're asking for a privilege from the state when you already have a right. Okay? That's the way our Constitution was written, intended to function. What you're seeing today is a maritime admiralty law system that is superimposed on top of the Republic common law system. An instrument is something that is negotiable. Okay? Negotiable. So your birth certificates are negotiable. Your registration for your car is negotiable instruments. Your deeds for your house, negotiable instruments. What does all this stuff mean, and where is it? So if I had a registration, let's say I was going to give out birth certificates to a group of people that are under a constitution, then the Constitution says there should be no enumeration of the people. Well, that's interesting. Well, the Constitution also says there should be no money exchanged that's not gold or silver coin. That's interesting. Well, also the Constitution at one point said the 13th Amendment here. And when the 13th Amendment said that the first reading, the meaning of the 13th Amendment, also called the title nobility, seems obscure, unimportant. References to nobility, honor, emperor, king, and prince led us to dismiss the amendment's petty post-revolution act, despite directed against the British monarchy. No. Okay? That's not what it was. What this was a direct order for people who consider themselves esquires or who attained a title of nobility, okay, from serving in your government, hereby making all quote-unquote lawyers not qualified to represent you in a court of law. Now if there's not crazy, then there's just some crazy. That's what's going on in our world. That's what we can show through the records of the lead up of the usurpation of our republic. That's how they did it. It was very methodical, it was very easy, and it was very thorough. But if you see here, titles of nobility, in seeking to rule the world and destroy the United States, bankers committed many crimes. Foremost among these crimes were fraud, conversion, and plain old theft. To escape prosecution for their crimes, the bankers did the same thing any career criminal does. Hired and formed alliances with the best lawyers, judges money could buy. These alliances, originally forged in Europe, particularly in Great Britain, spread to the colonies and later into the newly formed United States of America. Despite their criminal foundation, these alliances generated wealth and ultimately respectability. Like any modern member of organized crime, English bankers and lawyers wanted to be admired as legitimate businessmen. As their criminal fortunes grew, so did their usefulness. So to the British monarchy legitimized these thieves for granting them, quote, titles of nobility. Historically, the British peerage system referred to the knights as squires and to those who bore the knight's shields as esquires. As lances, shields, and physical violence gave way to the more civilized means of theft, the pen grew mightier, much more profitable than the sword, and the clever wielders of these pens, bankers and lawyers, came to hold titles of nobility. Most common title was esquire. So, I'm reading you that for a reason. I'm reading you that to show you how these entities hid themselves in plain sight. Now, Matrix will tell you we have evidence that shows Nixon, as you know, in the late 70s, was ordering Payseur information erased from the congressional record. This is what they're trying to hide. They're trying to make you forget that you are a sovereign. So every time that you go and apply for a privilege, think about that. You've applied for a privilege to get married. You've applied for a privilege to drive a car. You've applied for a privilege to get a divorce. You've applied for a privilege to go fishing. You've applied for a privilege to own a house. All of these different things are assets, guys. They're assets. And your birth certificate is your registration to these trusts. That is the trick. That is what they do not want you to know. They do not want you to connect the idea that your company, your name, all capital letters on your driver's license, try to sign that name. How do you write that all capital letter name in cursive? You cannot sign that name. You could not possibly sign a surety for that entity, but if you are called on it and you answer to it, it connects you to it. That is what the whole thing is based on. The whole thing is predicated on the usurpation of the structure that is the Constitution, and the bet is that you would never wake up and question this stuff. So that is a broad but maybe quick summation of why we think P is Payseur and what we think this is leading us to pay attention to and why we think that it's important. Tomorrow something could change and we could see a different light and P becomes more relevant. But to us, from not only Matrix and I's research, but all the other researchers that we've been working with, and quite a large amount of contact that him and I received through email correspondence and direct messages from people telling us that we are dead over the target. Do not stop and do not be quiet and tell things like they are, like you think they are, like the truth looks. And this is what the truth looks like to us. We went back and we studied it, we read it, and we verified that this is what people thought 120, 130, 140 years ago when they were properly educated. Whenever they, if you go back, Matrix, and read some of these tests that kids had to take in the late 1800s, I have no idea what half of them are referring to.
It's because we don't know our real history, man, and it's been changed and it's been altered. Here in Florida, Governor DeSantis made an executive order to do away with Common Core. So there's a big win in Florida. Thank you, DeSantis. So, we don't know, and we go ahead. We have to get a driver's license when we have the freedom to travel. Just to echo what you're saying, they think you get a license, so they're expecting that you're going to exhibit licentious behavior. So if it's a freedom, why do we need a license for it, right? So people just have to understand that we've given away our power. We've given away our power by not paying attention, by being fooled too. It's not that people are stupid. It's just we've been led and working hard and trying to do the right thing. And because the way we all feel about each other is not the way they feel about you. So think for yourselves, guys, and we got to, Q actually asked us to look at the history books from 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago today. They have changed. So
dramatically.
This is the big picture, guys. We need to reclaim our power. We forgot it, and that's our sovereignty. And our president is fighting for that. We are taking slings and arrows. He is taking slings and arrows. I'm taking slings and arrows for Payseur research. The website's getting attacked because of Payseur research. They don't want me talking. Shady, they don't want you talking. They don't want anybody talking about this stuff. Our website was being attacked real time live. I'm being smeared with a wrap-up smear that just is actually very, very laughable because there's nothing on me. I'm squeaky clean. I love my president. I love my family. I love my daughter. I love my kids. I love, you guys, we are here for you. We're going to be here for you. There's no stopping us, Shady. And, with your support, and donations are freedom. And, nobody's ever going to make anybody pay for any data or information. We just want to become citizen journalists and bring you the real news, because facts matter, guys.
Facts matter. And here's one I want to bring to your attention right now. Look at the push you're seeing this past week. How about a grand compromise on DC statehood? No. Okay? This idea that we're going to make DC a state, are you kidding me? No, not, ain't gonna happen. This is this is the last ditch effort for the swamp to gain some sort of a voice. The only reason I think that we have any republic left is because DC was never turned into a state, and the Constitution uh, thoroughly explains how it shouldn't be a state. The capital seat of America should not be a state in its own right because of the advantage that it would have over all other states. That is the Constitution, and the same with the Electoral College. They're coming after the Electoral College, and I've said it a few times, and I'll say it again here in the spirit of all honesty. Whenever I was a young man voting for Bill Clinton for the first time, which I regret, but I will tell you, I was of the belief that the Electoral College was I was trained in school that the Electoral College was outdated. Now I stand in a completely different position going through since the mid 90s of being red pilled and understanding all of this stuff about constitutional law and how it relates. I mean, this is, I want you to recognize, guys, this is stuff I was digging into over 20 years ago. The sovereignty issues, the right to travel, what does the word justice mean in court? What is acceptance? All of those things, kind of old school information for me. So talking about them now and bringing them up in real time is very refreshing because it's actually what I want to talk about. I mean, it really is what I want to talk about when I talk to people and their eyes glaze over and they don't want to hear it anymore. That's what I want to. This is what I want to discuss. So the idea that DC wants to become a state, well, you know where to stick that one. Here is a website called the National Liberty Alliance. I'm gonna drop you the link in here, and I want you guys to start studying this information. Please, I'm begging you. Start looking into what it is that you're protecting. Start looking into how I can work in committee in my local districts. This is what Q is telling us. We can go out here on Twitter and we can keyboard warrior till the live long day. Until you go out and organize among other Americans, not Q people, other Americans who care about their republic. There's lots of them out there, but they don't know that there's other people like them. So that's what we're working on showing them. That's what the website is about. That's what sharing this information here is about. That's what talking to you in real time is about. That's what Q posting is about, okay? All of these things relative to us today. 225 years ago, Washington, D.C. was founded, and here's why it will never become the first state. Send information like this to people that you know who might read it. Please. It's important to us. It is important to you. It is important to your president. Why? Because he's talking about it, guys. He's going in front of the UN. Go over there and watch the speech your president gave at the UN the last time he was there. He told them globalism was dead. He told them that the sovereign entity of America will come back in its full fruition. We saw Bill Clinton. I was trying to tell people that Bill Clinton was giving away national parks to the United Nations and giving over sovereign rights to manage them in the mid-90s. No one would believe me. You could have all the paperwork in the world. I had actually got all the paperwork sent to me from Washington, so I could read the bills. That's the only way we could communicate back then. And you could see right there clearly that they were writing legislation handing over these state parks. Now you see the 100-year scam. Now you see somebody standing there in front of you who represents your voice. He's representing our voice as well. And Matrix and I have a dear passion for the folks out there in the chat, for the folks that visit us on Twitter, for the people that paying attention. You are the most vital. You're the most vital. The people that are mad or irritated or frustrated or upset, those people are not, they're not the focus. The focus is the people who are motivated and who want to bring content and who want to talk about this stuff. And all you have to do is start digging about it and then get on YouTube and talk about it. Go to somebody talk about it. Bring up the subject in a non-confrontational way. Be polite, be nice, be civil, and do not be upset when someone rejects your information. Recognize that your information is worth rejecting by normal people. Be a grown-up. Understand that.
That's some great advice, and we're doing something about it. We've got the Q Lounge Live. Shady and I are together now. We've got a website to get the Patriots United, or a place to go for all the tools, too. It's very powerful. It's going to get more powerful. My mom, 72-year-old, God bless her, she is throwing this website around to her friends and sparking conversations. Do it, guys. Help spread the word. Help us figure out how to make it better. You guys are why we're doing it, and our kids and their kids and their kids' kids. And Shady, great advice, man. We're doing something about it. I never thought I'd be doing this today.
Well, I didn't
right
either.
now.
I didn't either. I'll be honest with you. I didn't think I was ever going to resurface. I was in a very protective mode because I knew the plan, and I didn't want to be part of the plan. And I'm not going to lie and say I didn't think about going somewhere else before she was elected because it wasn't looking good, and I wasn't excited about her being my president. I had already been through enough for the last 24 years. I wasn't really prepared for another run. So I wanted to Matrix. I'm going to pivot here for just a minute. I want to get this. I'm going to get this in this episode. This happened yesterday. This is Brad Parscale, the president's campaign manager. And the reason I'm playing this is because I want you guys to see what he represents as the strength of your president. And I want you to see what this man, who some of our great anons out there have actually met and shaken hands with, I want to see what you guys, I want you guys to see what he sees through his eyes in your president. All right, so we're going to be back here in about 5 minutes.
Brad Parscale got his start as a web designer in a little bookstore in Kansas. In short order, he became candidate Trump's digital wizard in the 2016 campaign. Now he's in charge of 2020. This is his untold story of Brad Parscale.
Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, as my father always said. I started off in a bookstore learning how to become a web designer, a web marketer, almost 20 years ago. And I got lucky that my first customer ended up knowing a guy who knew a girl, and then eventually that person knew somebody, and I got a phone call one day, and that person gave me a chance to bid on a project for the Trumps, and I've spent the last decade nearly working my way up in that family. And when the blessing came to be asked to help this country and to help the president help save it, I was asked to help. And that contract started with $1,500 to make a splash page. And eventually I took over all the marketing and advertising, and then eventually Jared's deputy in a way, and now I have the blessing to be campaign manager.
The work has made you a wealthy man. Some estimates say you made about $90 million on the campaign. Is that true?
No, all that money went to pass through my company for advertising. I actually made very little off the campaign and have sacrificed a lot of income working for it because it's been more about this country than it has been. I sold my company and I actually walked away from all my business.
How would you describe your role? Because some people say, that there's a lot of slings and arrows in Trump world, and you seem to sort of ride above them for the most part. Why is that?
Well, I think, first of all, I built a relationship with all the parties that need to. I have a good relationship with the family. I have a great relationship with all the, I call the children. Since I'm older than all of them, I can say that. I've also done a good job of not trying to be a train on the train track instead of being a conductor of the Trump train. Someone had to be the one to make sure it gets there on time and make sure all the pieces stay together. And I chose that role. And I think that's the strongest thing I can do. There
are some that say, you don't have enough political experience to run the campaign. There were 3 campaign managers the last time around, as we all remember. Do you think that you will be the campaign manager all the way through to election night?
Well, I hope so. I think it's best for this campaign for that to happen. I think I have 4 years of great political experience now. I also think I've been campaign manager longer than probably anybody now with all the days you go out. If you look at it nearly since 2016, I think that being a campaign manager has kind of adapted for some campaigns into being the spokesperson and a comms director. That's not what I'm trying to be. I'm trying to be a guy that's actually the CEO of this organization and manage it and make sure all the teams have the assets and the things need to be as strong as possible. I'm not going to be the comms director. I'm not going to be the political director. Those are people that I hire. My job is to keep it all well-oiled and all working together as one team, unified with the Republican Party, unified with the White House, to provide the best assets and infrastructure for the president to get done what he needs to get done.
Is there any part of you that thinks that the president could be impeached before you get to that point?
No. I don't think this president's done anything wrong other than actually try to fight a system that was broken and that was a swamp. And I think when you're the shark in the swamp, all the other animals in the swamp want to kill you.
You think they want to kill him?
Yeah, they want to get him. They want him gone. They want him gone. He's defeating a system that was broken for multiple decades. He's fighting back. He needs nothing from it. He's already wealthy. He was already famous. He already had power. He's doing this for this country. That's why I stick with him every day.
What do you think people don't get about President Trump, who you've worked with and know
that he's selfless.
Personally?
He's selfless. I really truly believe it. I've known him better than almost anyone. He actually really cares about everybody.
But the tweeting and all of that, he talks about himself a lot. He talks about, you know, having the greatest campaign win in history. So I think a lot of people have a very different impression of him than that, and maybe that's partly his own fault.
No, I think the fake news media, when they actually figured out that he was going to change the status quo from them having power and be able to dictate how the U.S. government and the way they felt about what their job was, they felt like they had to fight back against him because they were part of that infrastructure that was broken. The president felt like he had to fight back against it. And I think Twitter finally gave him the tool to do so. They couldn't convert his message. They couldn't change it. They couldn't know how to adapt. So you see when he started tweeting and doing those things, they didn't know what to do, and they started running in circles. And that's because finally a president didn't need them. He could talk directly to the people. It's the reason why I don't talk to much media and I don't trust them, because most of them have an agenda, and they have an agenda that I clearly see, and I'm glad that every day he fights against it.
You feel like you have his 100% confidence?
I believe so. I mean, I think I've proven that. You know, I mean, look, he does things. He always makes his own choice, but am I a person that he listens to? Of course. Does he listen to the data? Yes. He's a very highly intelligent man.
Did you ever imagine growing up as a little boy, I was going to say, or a very tall boy in Kansas, that you would one day be working for the President of the United States?
No, never. I just wanted to have a family and have a good job and come from a lot. So, you know, my expectations were not, you know, to be sitting here with you.
How has it changed you?
It's a humbling experience. You know, the first day you're called every name in the book just because you chose a side is a humbling experience.
Brad Parscale, thank you. Always good to talk to you. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks.
Brad Parscale, campaign manager for your president. The president.
Wow.
The president and you equal freedom. That's my message. Matrix and I are on the same page. The president and you equal freedom. You can understand that the person is the person that he represents, and that he's got your back and he's on your side, and show other people that without being ashamed that you support your president. They're not going to shame us into a corner. They're not going to ban us from places for wearing red hats. This is, you know, we just went through the whole Obama reality where they run people out of business because they refuse to make cakes for couples. And now you have people saying that we're not going to serve people with MAGA hats, people being violent towards people with hats on. The discord, America is not functioning, and we need all of you guys to help us make it function. This website, our ambitions, this is what it's about, is to learn how to function. We're going to have a lot of red pilling information coming to this website in the very near future. What you're seeing is the second build. We are working on the third build and the fourth build as we speak, adding lots and lots and lots of dimensions to this. And I just wanted to show you that, Matrix. I couldn't resist playing this because I wanted my page.
Sounded like us, didn't it? I mean, didn't it sound like and we feel?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, he said there specifically, he's defeating a system that's been broken for decades. Boom. Boom, guys. That this is a man who is representing something real, and I want you guys to see it. I want you to know that you're not separate from it. You are part of it. You are an integral part of it. You are the reason I'm sitting here. You're the reason I've done this show. You're the reason that Matrix and I found each other. You're the reason that we're, what happens 4 weeks from now is happening, okay? Connect the future to the present, to the past, and understand that it is not a timeline. You're in a circle. We're going back to the beginning and then starting again. You're not just infinitely running out on a line. We are sound. We are frequency. We are one with that. We can heal ourselves with the right thoughts. We can heal our nation with the right conversation, and the president is showing us the conversation he would like us to have, and I would love to have it with you, Matrix, and I would love to have it with these wonderful people that join us out here, and I am excited to bring a place to the forefront that is going to support such a endeavor.
And that's right, man. And this website, this is we had the Matrix WordPress site first. Now we've got intheMatrixxx Reloaded. Then we're gonna have Revelations after this. Shay's absolutely right. We've got a lot of cool stuff coming. We've got the we've got everything pretty much stable. I think we found how to fix everything that was happening to us with the attacks that were happening. We can't do it without you. We don't want to go get an agent like some other people out there. We want to control our information. We want you to help us control our information because we share and we learn together. We do accept the donations on the website. You can see it there, whatever. Contact us, send us a note, get on the forums. Obviously get under Twitter because there's so many great Twitter people. If people don't have Twitter, we've got everybody's Twitter here. We're going to add more. We've probably left some people off, so stay tuned. But much more. There's the Q clock on there. There's the Payseur. There's so many tools on this site. Get in there, just play around with it, check it out. And oh, by the way, 141 Shady on 141,000th most popular site on the web right now.
So you guys are moving us on up real quick, and this is just the beginning. We're gonna Matrix and I remember the web before. The only way you could communicate on the web was through their silly social media portals, and we're in the process of changing that and taking some stuff back to a free speech platform to where we can be discussing issues in real time as they happen. Q's posting, then we can put up a stream and you can hear real people in real time digging on this information, or if major news drops, or if something's going on in the world, we go on live with a bunch of people that are in a chat room that can speak to you, that have sauce, that know where to look for things, that can answer questions. We are getting ready to attempt to red pill 300 million Americans, not to include the rest of the world, okay? So in theory, we need to red pill somewhere in the area of 6.5 billion. So we're going to need a little bit of help from all of you guys, and the support that we've gotten is tremendous. And I want to maybe throw it over to you, Matrix, if you want to say a little something before we get into some digital warfare here in a minute.
Oh, severe Anon. Okay, yeah. So I'm going to love that. But really quick, I just wanted to say thank you for everybody that's been, looking at the Twitter for intheMatrixxx, retweeting, getting some information out there underneath. I do read many of the comments. I try to keep up with you guys. We're going to do a feature soon, Shady. I suggest the mailbag. I don't know if we're going to debut that tonight or if we're going to just do that next time, but we're getting hundreds of messages a day, just so you know. If we don't reach out to you right away, we're trying. We may not be able to, but I got to tell you, the overflow of support has just been amazing. And I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for that.
And I want to second that and let you know that having the ability to see and hear what you guys are writing is, that is sure is focusing us and motivating us. And I can't stress enough to you how motivating that is, because obviously we had this vision to bring this to you, putting something out of our heads into the web and then in front of you. It was not the easiest thing to translate. So bumps and bruises along the road. Some of the stuff, it hasn't been, maybe emails here and there not going to the right spot, but we're getting it, all the bugs worked out, and we're going to, use this system and not that system, or this system and that system instead, and be flexible with it, much like we are on, multiple meanings of different words at the Q post. That's what we've been taught, is this patience layer and also this cooperative unity layer. And the message tonight is the president and you equals freedom. Very simple math. We're not doing algebra here. We're doing easy math. And the conversation has been conflated and construed to make it seem confusing, but it's really easy to bring a nice, solid message. And I'm going to give it to you right now with a little bit of the real severe and digital warfare.
We have an army of digital soldiers. Because this was an insurgency, folks. This was run like an insurgency.
The deep state looks like they're ready for war. They're showing their hand now more than ever before. The next move, well, we can never be sure. We got a clue though, because the comms are never secure. When we go on, we go all. That's the movement. So every day I'm red pilling with my music. What you see behind the scenes, it ain't confusing. You need to see the power that they're abusing. We need to break it all down to begin again. Thank God for Donald Trump. Now we can win again. Think it stops at the Rothschilds, what world you living in? What about the Payseurs and Merovingians? Expand your thinking, this is deeper than you know. The more that you look into it, the deeper that it goes. When they label a conspiracy, it only goes to show we're right over the target and we got them on their toes. We got them on the run and they're about to be exposed. Why do you think the Russian dossier was composed? Cause they know their agenda's what we oppose. Wait until the fights and documents are disclosed. The breaking point is coming like it has around the map. Tired being victims, so now they're on attack. Patriots that love their land and fight to take it back. The globalism going down, you see that it's a fact. It's time for us to band together to form a defiance. Opposite of division, we need to form an alliance. Our voices are the one thing that will stay in silence. They feed off of fear, but I ain't scared of the tyrants. The culture of corruption now spreading like a virus. The prophecy's been told on scrolls of papyrus, so the time is now to open minds with my rhyming. The great awakening is now, so this is perfect timing. You need to think outside the box and tackle this assignment. The check's already written, all you gotta do is sign it. You already got the courage, all you gotta do is find it. History repeats itself, and see if you rewind it. Future proves past, it makes sense when you apply it. It's willful ignorance when there's proof and you deny it. The mockingbird media is scared cause it's dying. Their cause is death to be the truth I'm supplying. Thoughts I'm providing and alive like Orion. When the stars all align in a perfect alignment, they indoctrinate because they want us all compliant. But you was the catalyst and got us all ignited. The time is now for the traitors to be indicted. Put their feet to the fire for the crimes they incited. Justice is coming and there's no way they can fight it. We're digital soldiers and we all stand united. It's a private party, none of us are invited. One prisoner for each and every rhyme I recited. Put them all in Gimel, let them get reunited. What a time to be alive, am I the only one excited? Shout out to all the Bacons and the Anons. We're gonna bring dogs to light, it's time to ring the alarm. Wake up our fellow patriots and bring them along. It's time to pick a side, fit and where you belong. I'm a digital soldier and the army is strong. The time is almost here, we've been waiting so long. The blind leading the dumb when they're saying we're wrong. And future proofs past refer back to this song.
This was irregular warfare at its finest in politics. And that story will continue to be told here. And so the American people decided to take over the idea of information. They took over the idea of information. And they did it through social media.
America decided to take it over. Look at you guys out there. Hope you really enjoyed the show tonight. Matrix, that was another fun one. I hope that we got them out there 5-5, bud.
Wow, it's amazing because I can't believe it's over. It's over? Oh my gosh, I want more.
You want to stay longer?
Oh my gosh, you guys are amazing out there. Thank you, General Flynn. Also on the Matrix 3x's.com website under our Patriot News Network, we do have a link if you do want to give to General Flynn's fund. We do have it linked there because he's taking a bullet for us, guys, and God bless him. God
so
bless
is your
you
president.
Guys. Yes, and so is your president, and so are a lot of people standing up for the truth. So support everybody that you can. Red pill another 4 people this week, guys. We're going to check next week.
4
and,
plus. 4 squared.
Let's give a 5. Let's give a 5-5 for Severe Anon. Thank you, Severe Anon, for that awesome song. He also did the Matrix Groove song. That is also on his website. It's a song about you, Shady, and me.
I know, we have people writing songs about us.
I love it.
Who would have thought?
I got all these memes about me and everything, man. I am renting space in many people's minds, and I am proud of it. Badge of honor. Jeff Peterson here, running the intheMatrixxx account, matrix.com. Thank you very much. I am happy, healthy. I'm a great father, and I'm happy to serve at the pleasure of Q, POTUS, Anons, you guys, myself, for that matter. And thank you guys very, very much.
Thanks so much, intheMatrixxx, for joining us tonight, bringing another great show loaded with sauce. Thanks to all of the moderators out there. You guys give the one for the moderators massive amounts of love. They're keeping you in line and keeping you sauced up. Feel free to send people here to see what we're doing. Please start talking to folks out there. This has got to get into the conversation. The president wants you talking about this stuff. And please feel free to post in the YouTube comments below. If someone asks a question, don't hesitate to help them out. If you can't answer, maybe direct them to one of us. Maybe that we can. But we are here to spread the notion that there is a clear line between truth and the lie. The lie is that they are the global elite. The truth is that you are the global elite. You, Americans, truth-supporting, liberty-defending Americans, are the ones we were waiting for. Stand up, be proud, and use your voice. Thumbs up to everyone. Thank you. Please come over and join us at intheMatrixxx, 3 X's, intheMatrixxx.com. And we will see you there. Also, check out Jordan Say, The Praying Medic, Serial Brain 2, iPod, SGT Report, We the People Insider 1776, Neon Revolt for the blogs, Joe M on Twitter, hammering them down, Jody Iceman James with the memes, Lisa May on Twitter, Cordy Khan, Dustin Nemos, Blue Eyes, Abby Cook, some great music coming out of her, Digital Warfare, Real Severe, you just heard, JT Wild, X22 Report, Anon Decoder, Blessed to Teach. My goodness, Matrix, how could we have so many great patriots standing up at one time and saying freedom rings?
God bless America. God bless the Patriots. God bless you guys, YouTube. Thank you very much, guys. Much love.
Good night, YouTube. Please slide over here for a few minutes if you want some music on Sunday night. I've been doing WQMTV Cabal crushing tunes. We've been having a good time. I love all of you folks out there. And next week, I think we'll be doing a little bit of stuff as well. So keep your eyes peeled, keep your ears to the ground, and keep the powder dry, Patriots. Good night.